We've got breaking news now. Gail Halvorsen, better known as the Berlin Candy Bomber, has passed away at the age of 101.
We have Fox 13 News anchor Bob Evans joining us live over the phone right now. And Bob, you've interviewed him in the past, and you've had a relationship with this Utah legend.
Well, I tell you what, guys, he was a remarkable man. In fact, I'm hearing myself back here just a little bit on the air, so forgive me. But yeah, Gail Halvorsen passing away at age 101. I got to interview him about 4 years ago as part of our 3 Questions series, and got to know him even better than I did before, which was just a remarkable thing to be able to do. This humble man got his private pilot's license when he was a young kid growing up on a farm in Garland, Utah, and wound up becoming an Air Force pilot, flying the C-54 cargo planes that were dropping the supplies to West Berlin during World War II. And what he did, he harkened back to the time when he was just getting his pilot's license and would drop candy bars out of the airplane when he was flying. And everybody got such a kick out of that. When he was flying the cargo and the supplies into West Berlin to keep those German citizens alive and well, it dawned on him, you know what, these kids probably haven't had any candy. And so he went around his crew and said, give me your candy rations. And they all did. They tied handkerchiefs to them, and they dropped them out of the airplane as they would come into land to drop off the supplies. Well, word spread, and the crowd, the kids, found out that this was the place to be. In fact, the crowds got so big that they had to discontinue doing it because it just got to be too dangerous. His commanding officer found out what was going on, and he called him in and said, Halvorsen, what are you doing over there? Well, just flying into Berlin, sir. And he says, I hear you're doing more than that. And word went up to the general, and it came back and said, listen, you keep doing that because it's the German newspapers absolutely love the fact that the candy bomber is dropping candy. They're not only at the airport, they decided to do it all over West Berlin, so that people who are not able to get to the airport, the kids, were able to get the bomb or get the candy from the candy bomber. Well, what I didn't know about Gail Halvorsen that I learned when we got to do the 3 Questions interview was that he was really a rocket scientist. He stayed in the Air Force after World War II, and they put him through school, and he became a rocket scientist and continued to fly. In fact, at the time of our interview several years ago, he was still flying and teaching people how to fly the C-54 cargo plane from World War II. He and a group of buddies would go flying. And so, I mean, he's had just a wonderful aviation career. In fact, at the time of our interview, they were just setting up the Gail S. Halvorsen Aviation Education Foundation and Center at the Spanish Fork Airport. And that facility is still there to help to continue the education in aviation that Gail Halvorsen wished to pass on to the next generation. And so, yeah, it was just a real privilege to know him, to get to know him, and get to spend time with him. And I tell you what, his departure now leaves a big footprint. I mean, the man is
well known,
so
as you know, and
good.
And Bob,
his
even
entire adult life, and was really a beloved character and a beloved human being to everybody who knew him.
yeah, and even into his later years, just very active, very outgoing, and humble and kind to everybody, really. So, Bob Evans reporting there for us. Thanks a lot for sharing some memories, for reminiscing with us on a wonderful man who's made a real difference. Thanks, Bob.